Ladies and gentlemen, a very good day to you, all of you, from wherever you're watching, morning, afternoon, good evening. I will not say good night. So, welcome to the Tony Onying Show. My name is Tony Onying. So, today we are going to be looking at a very important concept 70, 20, 10. I know it is something that a good number of you, coaches, mentors, leaders, and all the management trainers, you could have heard of it. And while also the students out, the learners, colleagues at workplace, you could have heard of this. But what exactly is the 70, 20, 10? Now, today we are going to be looking through the works of the 7020 Institute, which is a collective work of three wonderful individuals, Joe Sarres, Charles Jennings, and Vivian Hayden. While on a similar note, I will also be taking you through the history of the 70-20-10 so that you could understand the context much better. Now, this module 70-20-10 came into play around the 1980s, and they were wonderful works of some great men from Center of Creative Leadership. Those are Morgan Markle, Michael Lomdo, and Robert Echenga. They did this great work based on a 1996 survey for nearly 200 executives who apparently reported how they believed they learned. You see, learning is a continuous process. So, what exactly did the 70-20-10 dig out? So, it is simply relied on the theme of bringing learning closer to business. Okay, what that meant in their view was that 70-20-10 is a practical, it is not a words issue, it is a practical metaphor that illustrates the fact that people learn from anywhere at any time, but mostly from work. Okay, on the other side, they also came out based on the survey they received from the 200 colleagues that structured learning is still important, but it's not the only way or even the main way through which people achieve high skills. And lastly, that the purpose of the 70-20 module is not to separate learning and working, but rather to strengthen the synergy. Now, looking at it from the 70-20 Institute, we will be looking into the framework and how to plan it, the 70, achieve the 20, and then what is the power behind the 10. This is what the framework prima states from the 70-20-10 Institute. It is argued to be a reference module which helps the organization to extend their focus on learning and development beyond the classroom. Learning and development beyond the classroom and course-based e-learning to build more resilient workforce. So, in other words, what the Institute is saying is that the 70-20-10 is not a rule, but simply describes learning as it naturally happens and then offers means to accelerate and support that learning. Let me break it down to the Tony way. Most of you listening to this session are probably team leaders. Most of you are probably working with organizations that value learning very, very much. With the corporate space, you have systems in place. You have e-learnings. You have learning tools and all those kind of things where you can go equip yourself in. At what point do you go there? At what point do you use those tools? Do you get pushed, or the pressure of the work makes you go there? Or the fact that you know change may make you irrelevant? What does that mean for you? The onus sits on you to go and learn. Remember, in this age of technology, we talk about artificial intelligence. We talk about climate change. We talked about sustainable finance, livelihood, and all those kind of things, while also not forgetting electronic vehicles. We're talking about solar energy and everything else. What does that mean to you? The world is changing at a terrible speed. And where do you lie at the end of the day? Skilling while on the job. What that means that if you have the job, then you are even better off to know whether that job will be available tomorrow or not, or you begin to work on a skill that is more relevant for tomorrow, depending on the future that work is taking. So you can do that as part of your daily workflow. You do that through working and talking with colleagues and structured development activities, everything else. What is it that counts at the end of the day? So, in a nutshell, for beginners who have not heard about the 70-20-20, to break it down into the layman language, that 70% of the learnings, of the things that we know, the things that we do, we learn them through on-job experiences. And talking about on-job experiences, let's bring it this way. For the students in school, your internship becomes a very important pillar of your career path. Your other activities that you do, leading a team, leadership, everything else that you do, draw you into the 70%. What that means is tomorrow, if you are graduated and they are asking for skills, you definitely know what to present. You're not going to ask yourself, they're asking for 3 years experience. You've been in the university for 3 years. Were you simply doing the classroom work? Were you one of those kids in class who would say, me, I'm here to get first class. The rest can wait. I'll do everything at my own time. 70-20-10 will catch up with you when all you know is the classroom. But let's see what the classroom contributes eventually. 20% of what we have, we learn them from interaction with colleagues. We learn them from our people leaders, our line managers. We learn them from our coaches and mentors at the workplace. Key to the 70 and 20, workplace is fundamental. We did not talk about whether the workplace is one where you're earning a salary or not. What about the 20%? This is now what we get through formal education, structured learning. Let me dwell a bit on this particular 10%. Remember, 10% is a means to the 20 and the 70. It's not an end. When you get a first class, you have not achieved a certificate to be employed. No. In that 10%, do you have the 70? You notice there are people who, having graduated, the weirdest thing you're going to hear is when this child is telling you, I am going to do masters. I want to continue with my education. I'm still young. That, I'm sorry to say this, but that is not the perfect time to do that. Get your degree, go in and do some work and gain some experience. You know, the interesting thing about it is that the moment you begin to work, you begin to look at your career in a different perspective. You begin to look at it from a different angle. In fact, eventually you will realize that you need to do a totally different course than what you would have gone to without knowing what's up. So in a nutshell, 70-20-10 is very crucial for students who ask questions. Would you hire me? Can you hire me? Can you connect me? Connect you to what? The onus is on you. Even those of us who are still at the workplace, skilling is very crucial. Continue learning. When your bosses, your team leaders push you to learn, it is not up to them, it is up to you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to me, and we will come back with yet another episode of this career session. All the best, and we look forward. In case of details about this presentation, drop us a chat on the comment section, and you can also get my details or emails right there, so you can write directly for any questions. We are happy to answer them. Thank you. Wishing you all the best in your career endeavors. Goodbye for now, and thank you.